The Wolf I Saved. A werewolf romance story. Opening, hello my beautiful dreamers. This is Luna, and welcome back to Luna's Romance Audiobooks, where we dive into worlds of passion, destiny, and love that defies all odds. Tonight I have something truly special for you. A story about sacrifice, hidden identities, and a bond that was written in the stars long before our heroine ever knew what fate had in store for her. So find your cozy spot, dim those lights, and let me take you on a journey where one woman loses everything to save a dying wolf, never knowing he was the Alpha King, returning to claim his throne. This is The Wolf I Saved. Prologue. The choice. The rain turned my small herb garden into a mud pit, but I didn't care. My knees sank into the cold earth as I cradled the massive wolf's head in my lap, his silver-black fur matted with blood that no amount of rain could wash away. "Please," I whispered, my fingers trembling as they traced the jagged wound across his ribs. "Please don't die." His eyes, impossibly blue, almost human, found mine through the downpour. Something passed between us in that moment, something I couldn't name. It felt like recognition, like coming home. I heard my father's voice bellowing from the cottage behind me. "Elara, get away from that beast!" But I couldn't. Every instinct I possessed screamed at me to save this creature, even though I knew what it would cost me. My family had already been hanging by a thread. My mother's medical bills, my father's debts to the town council. Helping a wolf, especially one this size, would mark us as sympathizers to the wild packs. We'd lose everything. The wolf's massive paw lifted, and impossibly, gently, touched my hand. "I'll save you," I promised, tears mixing with rain on my cheeks. "I don't know why, but I will." I didn't know then that this choice would change everything. That the dying wolf in my arms was no ordinary creature. That he was Theron Nightshade, the lost Alpha King, and that by saving his life, I'd bound myself to a destiny I never could have imagined. But in that moment, with his heartbeat fading beneath my palm, none of that mattered. All that mattered was keeping him alive. Chapter 1. Consequences. 3 days after I dragged the wolf into our barn, my world collapsed exactly as I'd feared. "You have until sunset to vacate the premises." Mr. Blackwell's voice was cold as he stood in our doorway, eviction notice in hand. "The council has voted. Anyone harboring wild wolves forfeits their property rights." My father aged 10 years in that moment. My mother, already frail, swayed on her feet. And it was all my fault. "Please," I begged, stepping forward. "He was dying. I couldn't just—" "You made your choice, Miss Thorne," Blackwell interrupted, his gray eyes hard. "Now live with it." As his carriage pulled away, I turned to face my parents. My father wouldn't look at me. My mother's disappointment cut deeper than any words could. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "Sorry doesn't keep a roof over our heads," my father said quietly, then walked away. I fled to the barn, where the wolf still lay in the corner I'd made for him. His breathing was stronger now, the wound beginning to close with unnatural speed. I'd used every herb I knew, every remedy my grandmother had taught me, but his recovery was beyond anything natural. As I knelt beside him, those blue eyes opened, fixing on me with an intensity that made my breath catch. "You're getting better," I said softly, running my hand through his fur. Even matted and dirty, it felt like silk beneath my fingers. "That's good. At least something good came from this." The wolf shifted, and I swear something like guilt flickered in his gaze. "It's not your fault," I told him, though my voice cracked. "I chose this. I chose you." I didn't understand why. I still don't. But sitting there in the ruins of my life, with this mysterious creature watching me with 2 knowing eyes, I couldn't bring myself to regret it. The wolf moved closer, resting his massive head on my lap like he had that first night. His scent wrapped around me, pine and winter frost and something wild and intoxicating. And for just a moment I felt like maybe, somehow, everything would be okay. I didn't know that in the shadows outside our barn, royal guards were already searching for their missing king. That the wolf I'd saved was worth more than 1,000 cottages. That the bond forming between us was something ancient and unbreakable. I didn't know any of it. Not yet. Chapter 2. The Transformation. I woke to the sound of bones cracking. Scrambling up from where I'd dozed off against the barn wall, I stared in horror as the wolf's body convulsed. His back arched, limbs elongating, fur receding. No, 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 I breathed, rushing toward him. What's happening? The transformation was brutal and beautiful. Where a wolf had lain, now a man emerged, naked, gasping, and absolutely magnificent. He was massive, all carved muscle and bronzed skin marked with silvery scars. His hair was black as midnight, falling past his shoulders. But it was his eyes that stopped my heart. Those same impossible blue eyes that had watched me with such intelligence. "You," I whispered. He tried to speak, but only a rasp came out. I grabbed my water skin, helping him drink. His hand, large, calloused, powerful, wrapped around mine, and where our skin touched, a shock of heat raced up my arm. "Thank you," he finally managed, his voice like gravel and smoke, "for saving my life." "You're a werewolf." It should have terrified me. Instead, all I felt was awe. "I am." He sat up slowly, and I tried very hard not to stare at his chest. I failed. "My name is Theron." "Elara?" I offered automatically. Then reality crashed back. "You need to leave. If anyone finds you here, I know what you sacrificed for me." His gaze held mine, and something in it made my pulse race. "I heard everything. Your family. Your home. It was my choice. A choice you never should have had to make." He reached out, tucking a strand of my dark hair behind my ear. The gesture was intimate, gentle, completely at odds with the raw power radiating from him. "I will repay this debt, Elara Thorne. I swear it." "I don't want repayment. I just want—" I broke off. What did I want? "I want you to be safe." Something fierce and possessive flashed across his face. His hand cupped my cheek, and I couldn't help but lean into his touch. "Little savior," he murmured. "You have no idea what you've done, do you? Saved a life? Bound yourself to a king." I blinked. "What?" But before he could answer, voices erupted outside the barn. "The tracks lead here. Search everything." Theron's eyes flashed golden. "Royal guards. They're hunting me." "Why? What did you do?" His jaw clenched. "Survived what I wasn't supposed to." "Elara, listen to me. When they find me, tell them you were forced. Tell them I threatened you. Do you understand?" "No, I won't lie." He pulled me close, and the world tilted. His scent overwhelmed me. That pine and frost, but deeper now, wilder, mixed with something uniquely male. "You've already lost everything because of me. I won't let you lose more." "Theron!" The barn doors burst open. And standing there, backed by a dozen armed guards, was a man who could have been Theron's darker reflection. Same height, same build, but where Theron radiated strength, this man oozed cruelty. "Hello, brother," the man said, smile sharp as a blade. "We've been looking for you." Theron's arm tightened around me protectively, and I felt his whole body tense for a fight. Whatever I'd stumbled into, it was far more dangerous than I'd ever imagined. Chapter 3. The Usurper. Interesting pet you found, Theron. The man's eyes, gray, not blue, raked over me with disdain. "A bit scrawny for an Alpha King's tastes. Touch her, Draven, and I'll rip your throat out. Brother or not." Draven. The name clicked in my mind. I'd heard whispers in town about the new Alpha King who'd taken the throne 6 months ago. Ruthless, cruel, taking power after the true king disappeared. "You're the Alpha King," I breathed, looking at Theron. His jaw tightened. "Was." "Still am," he corrected, his voice dropping to a growl that vibrated through my bones. "You sit on my throne, Draven. but you don't wear my crown." Draven laughed. "Your crown? You were ambushed, left for dead. The council declared you gone. Someone had to rule." His smile turned vicious. "Someone worthy? You mean someone who plotted with the Black Claw Pack to assassinate me?" The accusation hung in the air like smoke. The guards shifted uncomfortably. "Careful, brother," Draven warned. "Accusing the sitting king is treason." "Truth isn't treason." I watched the two of them circle each other, and pieces started falling into place. The severity of Theron's wounds, the ambush, a brother who'd seized power a little too conveniently. "You tried to kill him," I said, and every eye turned to me. Draven's gaze sharpened. "The girl has a tongue. Pity she doesn't know when to hold it." Theron shifted, placing himself fully between us. "You won't touch her." "Won't I?" Draven tilted his head. "She's harboring a traitor. That's punishable by death." "I'm no traitor. I'm the rightful king." "You're a ghost, and ghosts can't rule." Draven gestured to his guards. "Take him. Kill the girl." Everything happened at once. Theron's transformation was instant. Bones cracking, muscle expanding, his magnificent wolf form erupting in a heartbeat. He lunged at the nearest guard while simultaneously knocking me backward with his massive body. "Run!" The command echoed in my mind, though his jaws never moved. "Elara, run!" But I couldn't leave him. Not after everything. I grabbed a pitchfork from the wall, a pathetic weapon against trained soldiers, but it was all I had. When one guard advanced on Theron's flank, I swung with everything I had. The shock on the guard's face when the fork's prongs caught his shoulder would have been funny in any other circumstance. "The girl fights," Draven observed, almost amused. "Interesting." Theron's wolf form was a force of nature, all silver-black fur and flashing fangs, moving with deadly grace. But there were too many guards, and he was still healing. When one got past his defenses with a silver blade, Theron's yelp of pain shot through my chest like I'd been stabbed myself. "No!" I screamed. Something inside me snapped. Heat flooded my veins, my vision sharpened, and I swear I felt the earth itself respond to my rage. The barn door slammed shut on its own. Every guard froze. Even Draven looked shocked. "What?" I stared at my hands, which were glowing with a faint silver light. "What's happening to me?" Theron shifted back to human form, blood streaming from his side, but his eyes were wide with wonder as they fixed on me. "Impossible," he whispered. "You're human. You can't be." "She's a moon blessed," Draven finished, and for the first time he looked unsettled. "A human touched by the moon goddess herself." The guards began backing away, hands raised in supplication. "Don't hurt us, moon blessed," one pleaded. "We didn't know. Enough!" Draven's command cracked like a whip. "Moon blessed or not, she's still mortal, still killable." But he didn't advance. None of them did. Theron moved to my side, despite his wound. "It's true, then. The bond I felt. You're not just human, Elara. You never were. I don't understand any of this. You will." He took my glowing hand in his. "But first, we need to leave. Now. Can you trust me?" I looked at this man, this king, who I'd saved without knowing who he was. This stranger who made my heart race and my soul feel complete. "Yes," I said. "I trust you." He shifted back to wolf form, crouching low. I understood immediately, climbing onto his back and gripping his fur. Draven lunged forward. "You're not leaving." But Theron was already moving, crashing through the barn's back wall with inhuman strength. We burst into the night, and he ran like the wind itself carried us. Behind us, Draven's enraged howl split the darkness. The hunt had begun. Chapter 4. The moon blessed. We ran until the cottage was far behind us, until the forest swallowed us whole. Finally, Theron slowed, sides heaving, and I slid from his back. He transformed again, collapsing against a tree. The wound on his side was still bleeding silver. Silver poisoning, he gasped. It'll slow me down, but won't kill me. Not now that I've got my strength back. I tore strips from my dress, wadding them against the wound. Because of me? Because I saved you? Because of many things. His hand caught mine. Even injured, his touch sent electricity through me. Elara, do you know what moon blessed means? No, I was just a herbalist's daughter. You were never just anything. He pulled me closer, and I went willingly, drawn by an invisible thread. The moon goddess chooses humans sometimes. Rarely. Maybe once in a century. She marks them with her power, gives them gifts. What kind of gifts? Healing, control over nature. Sometimes the ability to speak with wolves. His thumb traced my cheekbone. Sometimes the ability to complete a true mate bond with an alpha. My breath caught. Mate bond? The reason I couldn't die, even when Draven's assassins left me bleeding in the rain. The reason I crawled miles to reach human lands. His eyes burned into mine. I was searching for something. Someone. My wolf knew before I did. Theron. You're mine, Elara. My fated mate. The one the moon goddess chose for me before either of us was born. His voice dropped to a rough whisper. From the moment you touched me, from the moment your scent wrapped around me like salvation, I knew. I should have been afraid, should have run. Instead, I leaned into him, my forehead resting against his. I felt it too, I admitted. Something pulling me to you. I thought I was going crazy. Not crazy, just fated. He kissed my forehead, gentle despite the urgency thrumming between us. But this complicates everything. Draven won't stop hunting us now. A moon-blessed mate would legitimize my claim to the throne beyond any dispute. Then we fight. He pulled back to study my face. You've already lost everything because of me. I lost a cottage and some chickens, I said firmly. But I found you. That's not a loss. Something fierce and possessive flared in his expression. You're far too brave for your own good, little savior. And you're far too protective for someone who just met me. I've known you my whole life. I just didn't know your face. His hand slid into my hair, tilting my head back. The mate bond, it's sacred, permanent. If we complete it, you'll be bound to me forever. You'll age slower, live longer, share my strengths and my weaknesses, feel what I feel. Sounds intense. It is. His lips ghosted over mine, not quite kissing, just breathing me in. I won't pressure you, despite what my wolf wants. And little savior, you have no idea how much he wants you. This has to be your choice. The sincerity in his voice made my decision easy. I choose you, I whispered. I chose you the moment I decided to save you in the rain. His control snapped. The kiss was fierce, claiming, absolutely devastating. His mouth moved against mine like he was starving, and I was his first meal in years. I kissed him back with equal hunger, my hands fisting in his hair. When we finally broke apart, both gasping, his eyes had gone full golden. Wolf and man watching me together. Mine, he growled. Yours, I agreed. Silver light erupted around us. My moon-blessed power responding to the bond forming between us. It wrapped around Theron's wound, and I watched in awe as the silver burn began to heal. Your power is extraordinary, he murmured, wonder in his voice. Our power, I corrected. If we're bonded, it's ours. The possessive satisfaction that crossed his face should not have been as attractive as it was. We need to get to the northern pack, he said, reluctantly pulling away. My allies there, the ones who stayed loyal. Can we make it before Draven catches us? We'll have to. He stood, pulling me up with him. But, Elara, you need to understand. Claiming the throne back means war. Draven won't surrender peacefully. Good thing I'm apparently touched by the moon goddess, then. His laugh was rough but genuine. Good thing indeed. As we started moving through the forest, his hand never left mine. The bond between us hummed like a living thing, growing stronger with every step. I'd lost everything to save a dying wolf, but in return I'd gained a king, a mate, and a destiny I never could have imagined. Now we just had to survive long enough to claim it. Chapter 5. The Curse Revealed. We traveled for 3 days, moving only at night, hiding during the day. Theron taught me about the werewolf world, the pack hierarchies, the sacred laws, the power of the Alpha King. And slowly, he told me about the curse. My family has ruled for 7 generations, he explained as we rested in a cave on the 3rd night. But there's always been a price. Every Alpha King of the Nightshade line must find their true mate before their 30th year, or they lose their power. My blood went cold. When do you turn 30? 3 weeks. 3 weeks? I sat up straight. Theron, why didn't you tell me? Because it doesn't matter. He pulled me back against his chest, his arms wrapping around me. I found you. That's all that matters. But if Draven knows about the curse, he's counting on it. He thinks if he can keep us apart for 3 weeks, I'll lose my alpha power automatically. The throne will be his by default. I twisted to face him. Then we complete the bond. Now. Tonight. Whatever it takes to... No. His voice was gentle but firm. Completing a mate bond isn't just physical, Elara. It's a soul-deep merging. You need to choose it freely, not because you feel pressured by a deadline. I am choosing freely. Are you? Or are you trying to save me again? His thumb brushed my cheek. You have a pattern, little savior. Saving you seems to be working out pretty well so far. He kissed my forehead, but I could feel the tension in his body. The bond will happen when it's meant to. The moon goddess brought us together. I have to trust she'll see us through. But I could hear what he wasn't saying. The doubt, the fear that we'd run out of time. That night, as Theron slept, I slipped outside the cave. The moon was full, bright as day, and I felt its pull like never before. Please, I whispered to the sky, if you really did choose me, if this power is real, show me what to do. Show me how to save him. The moonlight intensified, and suddenly I wasn't alone. She was beautiful, ethereal and ancient, made of silver light and stardust. The moon goddess herself. Moon, blessed child, her voice echoed through my mind. You've done well. I fell to my knees. Please, help him. The curse is not what you think. She moved closer, and where her light touched the ground, flowers bloomed. The curse was never meant to punish. It was meant to ensure each king found their balance, their other half. Then why the deadline? Because power without love becomes tyranny, but love without power, she smiled. That is the greatest strength of all. I don't understand. You will. When the time comes, you must choose. Save the king or save the man, the throne or the heart. That's not a choice. They're the same. Are they? Her form began to fade. 3 trials await you, Moon Blessed. Pass them, and the bond will be unbreakable. Fail, and you'll lose him forever. Wait, what trials? How do I... But she was gone, leaving only moonlight and the scent of night-blooming jasmine. When I returned to the cave, Theron was awake, eyes golden in the darkness. You spoke to her. It wasn't a question. How did you know? You smell like starlight. He pulled me into his arms. What did she say? I told him everything. The trials, the choice, all of it. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Save the man, he finally said. If it comes to that choice, Elara, save the man. Let the throne go. No, I gripped his face, forcing him to look at me. You are the rightful king. Your people need you. I won't let Draven win. And I won't let you sacrifice yourself for a crown. Good thing I'm not doing it for a crown. I kissed him, soft and sure. I'm doing it for you. The next morning, we reached the Northern Pack's territory, and waiting at the border with an army at his back was Draven. "Hello, brother," he called out. "Ready to come home?" Theron shifted to his wolf form, placing himself between me and the threat. "The first trial," I breathed, understanding flooding through me. This was it. This was where everything would be decided, and I had no idea if we were ready. Chapter 6. The First Trial. "Let's make this interesting," Draven called out across the clearing. "Single combat. You and me, brother. Winner takes the throne." Theron growled, a sound that rattled my ribs. "And when I win," Draven continued, "the girl comes with me. A moon-blessed would make a fine trophy." "Never," I said, my voice carrying despite my fear. Silver light flickered around my hands. Draven's eyes narrowed. "Using your gifts already, little moon-blessed? Careful. Magic always has a price." He was baiting me, but he wasn't wrong. I could feel the power draining my energy, like water through a sieve. Theron shifted back to human form. "If I win, you leave. Take your false claim and disappear. Abdicate peacefully. Deal." Draven's smile was all teeth. "Shall we?" What followed was the most brutal thing I'd ever witnessed. They fought as wolves, massive, powerful, absolutely savage. Draven was fresh, well-fed, trained. Theron was still recovering, running on determination and sheer willpower. Blood stained the grass silver. When Draven's jaws closed around Theron's throat, I screamed. The moonlight answered. Power erupted from me like a tidal wave, pure silver energy that slammed into both wolves, separating them. Draven flew backward 20 feet. Theron collapsed, gasping. "Enough!" My voice echoed with otherworldly power. "This isn't a fair fight, and you know it, Draven. He's injured, exhausted, and still stronger than you'll ever be," Theron rasped, staggering to his feet. Blood matted his fur, but his eyes burned defiant. "Sweet," Draven said, climbing to his feet. "She fights for you. How touching." He transformed back to human, studying me with new interest. "Tell me, Moon-blessed, do you know what completing a mate bond requires?" "Draven, don't," Theron warned. "Perfect trust, perfect love, perfect sacrifice." Draven's smile turned cruel. "And the willingness to die for each other. Can you do that, little herbalist's daughter? Can you die for him?" "Yes," I said without hesitation. "Elara, no." Theron started forward. "Prove it!" Draven gestured, and one of his guards tossed him a silver dagger. "His life for yours. You die, he goes free. He gets the throne back, gets everything. All it costs is you." The first trial. Save the king, or save the man? "Don't you dare!" Theron growled, moving toward me. "Elara, don't even think about—" "I accept," I said. Time seemed to stop. Theron's anguished roar shook the trees. He lunged for me, but Draven's guards held him back with silver chains that burned his skin. "No, Elara, no! Don't do this!" The pain in his voice broke my heart. But I understood now. This was the trial. Not just my willingness to sacrifice, but his willingness to let me. I walked toward Draven, my legs shaking, but my resolve solid. "You'd really do it?" he asked, something like respect in his voice. "Trade your life for his?" "Without question. Even knowing he'll suffer without you? That the mate bond once formed makes losing your other half like losing your soul? Even knowing that?" Theron's struggles grew more desperate. "Please, Elara, please don't." I looked back at him, my king, my mate, the man I'd saved in the rain. "I love you," I said simply. "I choose you. I choose this." The silver dagger pressed against my throat, and then something miraculous happened. The moon itself seemed to descend, light pouring down in a column that surrounded us both. The dagger in Draven's hand turned molten hot, and he dropped it with a curse. The moon goddess's voice echoed through the clearing. The first trial is past. True sacrifice, freely given. The bond deepens. I felt it, a rush of warmth through my chest, a golden thread connecting me to Theron growing brighter, stronger. The silver chains holding him shattered like glass. Theron reached me in 3 strides, pulling me into his arms, his whole body shaking. "Never again," he whispered fiercely against my hair. "Never again. Do you hear me?" "I had to," I whispered back. "It was the trial. I don't care about trials. I don't care about thrones. I care about you." Around us, Draven's army was backing away, fear clear on their faces. Even Draven looked unsettled. "1 trial down," he said coldly. 2 to go, and the next one won't be so easy." He whistled, and his forces retreated into the forest. We were left standing in the moonlight, holding each other, the bond between us singing with new strength. "What did she mean?" Theron asked quietly. 2 more trials? I don't know, but we'll face them together." His kiss was desperate, claiming, full of relief and residual fear. "Together?" he agreed. "No more sacrifices. We find another way." But I could feel in my bones that the hardest tests were still to come, and I had a feeling the choice between saving the king or saving the man was far from over. Chapter 7. The Heart or the Throne. The northern pack welcomed us, but the greeting was bittersweet. Of the 50 wolves who'd once sworn loyalty to Theron, only 20 remained. The rest had bent the knee to Draven, or disappeared. "He's been brutal," Marcus, Theron's former beta, explained as he showed us to the pack house. "Anyone who questioned his rule faced execution. We've been in hiding for months." I watched Theron's jaw tighten with each new horror story. This was his people, suffering because of his brother's ambition. "We attack at dawn," Theron announced that night, addressing his remaining loyal wolves. "Draven's forces are spread thin. If we strike now—" "You'll lose," I interrupted quietly. Every eye turned to me. "You have 20 wolves. He has 200. Even with my moon-blessed power, we're outnumbered 10 to 1. I stood, moving to his side. "We need a different strategy." "What do you suggest?" Marcus asked, not unkindly. "The curse. We have less than 2 weeks before Theron's 30th birthday. If we can prove he's found his true mate before then, the curse is broken. His claim becomes uncontestable." "That requires completing the bond," Theron said, "which we haven't. Then we complete it." I met his eyes steadily. "We have to." The room erupted in discussion, but I only had eyes for Theron. I could see the war raging inside him, desire fighting with protectiveness, love battling with fear. Finally, he cleared the room. When we were alone, he pulled me close. "You don't have to do this out of obligation." "I'm not." I cupped his face. "Theron, I love you. Not because you're a king, not because of some mystical bond, although that's pretty amazing, but because you're you. Because you'd give up everything for your people. Because you looked at me with wolf eyes in the rain, and I felt like I'd come home. Elara," his voice was rough with emotion, "complete the bond with me. Not for the throne. For us." He kissed me then, deep and claiming, and I felt the golden thread between us pulse with heat. "Tonight," he promised against my lips, "under the full moon, the way it's meant to be." But fate, it seemed, had other plans. An hour before moonrise, scouts reported movement. Draven's forces, converging on our location from all sides. "He's not giving us time," Marcus said grimly. "We're surrounded." Theron's hand tightened on mine. "Elara, you need to run. There's a passage that leads to the human territories. I'm not leaving you. If Draven captures you, then I'll fight. We'll fight. Together." I turned to face the assembled wolves. "I know I'm not one of you. I'm human, or mostly human, or whatever I am. But I love your king, and I won't abandon him." The respect in their eyes was humbling. "We make our stand here," Theron decided. "Marcus, take 10 wolves and guard the eastern approach. I'll take the rest and—" The windows exploded inward. Draven's forces poured in like a flood, wolves and warriors, all bearing silver weapons. The pack house became a war zone in seconds. Theron shifted, his massive wolf form a silver-black blur of fury and fang. I summoned my moon-blessed power, silver light forming shields, weapons, anything I could think of. But there were so many of them. I saw Marcus go down with 3 wolves on his back, saw Theron fighting desperately to reach me as enemies swarmed between us. Then Draven was there, human form, silver sword in hand. "Quite the show," he said conversationally, as if we weren't in the middle of a bloodbath. "But it ends now. My brother can watch you die, lose his power to the curse, and spend the rest of his pathetic life knowing he failed everyone who believed in him." The sword swung toward my throat. Theron's howl shook the foundation, and I understood suddenly what the moon goddess had meant. Save the king or save the man. If I died, Theron lived but lost everything. His throne, his power, his purpose. If I saved myself with my power, I'd drain myself completely, leaving Theron defenseless against Draven's army. The choice crystallized in an instant. I released every ounce of moon-blessed power I possessed. The blast was nuclear, silver light exploding outward, throwing every enemy wolf out of the pack house, disintegrating Draven's sword mid-swing. The sheer force of it cracked the foundation and shattered every window. When the light faded, I collapsed. Theron was there, instantly, human again, catching me before I hit the ground. No, Elara, stay with me." "Did it work?" I could barely whisper. My power was completely spent, my body empty. "You saved everyone." His voice cracked. "But you're dying." "Worth it." I touched his face weakly. "King or man, I choose both." Understanding flooded his eyes. The second trial. Around us, his wolves were recovering, but Draven's forces were already regrouping outside. "You have to complete the bond," Marcus said urgently, limping over despite his wounds. "It's the only way to save her. The mate bond will share your strength, your healing. But the moon, it's not full yet. It doesn't matter." Marcus grabbed Theron's shoulder. "Do it, now, or lose her." Theron looked down at me, anguish clear in every line of his face. "This isn't how I wanted this. Not like this, not with you fading. Hey," I smiled weakly. "In the rain, dying wolf, I saved you anyway. Full circle, right?" His laugh was broken, desperate. "You're insane. Your mate can't be. Boring." He kissed me then, and I felt his decision, his acceptance. The bond rushed to life between us like wildfire. Power poured from him into me. Not moon-blessed power, but something older, deeper. Wolf strength, alpha dominance, the very essence of what made him king. But it flowed both ways. My humanity, my compassion, my stubborn determination to save things that should be dead, it all flowed into him. The merger was perfect, complete, soul deep. When we broke apart, I could breathe again. More than that, I could feel him. Every emotion, every thought, every fierce protective instinct. "Mine," he whispered. "Ours," I corrected. Silver and gold light spiraled around us, moon blessed and alpha king, perfectly balanced. Outside, Draven's voice cut through the chaos. "Impossible! The bond can't be. He's still cursed. He has to be." But when Theron stood, pulling me up with him, power radiated from him like never before. The curse was broken. The bond was sealed. And I could feel, through our connection, exactly what he intended to do. "Theron, wait!" But he was already moving, shifting to his massive wolf form. Through our bond, I felt his command to his wolves: protect her, no matter what. Then he leaped through the shattered window, directly at Draven's assembled army, straight into what should have been certain death, and I understood the final trial. Sometimes sacrifice meant living, meant trusting your mate to fight while you stood back, meant having faith that love was strong enough to survive anything. Even this. Chapter 8, The Alpha King Rises. The battle that followed would be sung about for generations. Theron fought like a king reclaiming his throne, savage, brilliant, unstoppable. The bond we'd completed didn't just heal me, it amplified everything he was. Every strength, every power, every right he had to rule. I stood at the broken window, flanked by his loyal wolves, and watched my mate tear through Draven's forces like they were nothing. "He's magnificent," Marcus breathed beside me. He was. But more than that, he was winning. Wolves who'd bent the knee to Draven saw their true king return and remembered their oaths. One by one they turned, abandoning Draven's side. Some fled. Others knelt in submission, baring their throats to Theron in the ancient sign of surrender. Within an hour, Draven stood alone. "This isn't over," he screamed, transforming to his wolf form. "You might have broken the curse, but you're still weak from—" Theron's jaws closed around his throat, cutting off the words. Through our bond, I felt Theron's rage, his pain, his grief. Draven was his brother. Despite everything, this hurt. But he was also a king, and kings made hard choices. "Don't kill him," I called out, and Theron's eyes found mine across the battlefield. "Exile him. Let mercy be your first act as the restored king." For a long moment, Theron didn't move. Then, deliberately, he released Draven's throat. Draven collapsed, gasping. "You should kill me. I would have killed you." "I know." Theron shifted back to human form, standing over his brother with devastating authority. "But I'm not you. And she's right. Mercy is strength, not weakness." He gestured to the assembled wolves. "Bear witness. Theron Nightshade is hereby exiled from all Packlands. If he returns, he will be executed. But today, he lives." The pronouncement echoed with alpha command, binding and absolute. Draven looked up at me, something complicated in his expression. "You saved him, even from himself." "That's what mates do," I said simply. He was escorted away by guards, and just like that, it was over. The battle, the curse, all of it. Theron crossed the battlefield in long strides, not stopping until he had me in his arms. "Are you all right?" "I'm perfect." I kissed him, not caring that we had an audience. "My king." "Our king," Marcus corrected, kneeling. "And our queen." One by one, every wolf present took a knee, not just to Theron, but to both of us. The moon blessed, and the Alpha King. Exactly as the moon goddess had planned. Epilogue. 1 year later. The coronation ceremony was beautiful, all silver moonlight and ancient wolf songs, traditions stretching back centuries. They crowned Theron first, the weight of leadership settling on his shoulders, like it had always belonged there. Then they turned to me. "It's not too late to run," Theron murmured, amusement in his voice as they approached with the Luna's crown. "And miss this? Never." I squeezed his hand, feeling our bond pulse with warmth. The crown was delicate silver, woven with moonstones that caught the light. When they placed it on my head, I felt the weight of responsibility, of power, of destiny. But more than that, I felt right. "Your Majesties," Marcus announced to the assembled crowd, "I present Alpha King Theron and Luna Queen Elara of the Nightshade Pack." The roar of approval shook the rafters. Later, after the ceremonies and celebrations, we stood on the balcony of the palace, our palace, looking out over lands at peace for the first time in years. "Do you ever regret it?" Theron asked quietly, his arms wrapped around me from behind. "Everything you gave up? The simple life you could have had?" I thought about that rainy night, the dying wolf in my arms, the choice I'd made. "I lost a cottage," I said, leaning back against his chest. "I gained a kingdom. I lost my anonymity. I gained a mate. I lost everything I thought I wanted." I turned in his arms, meeting his eyes, and found everything I didn't know I needed. His kiss was soft, reverent. "I love you, little savior." "I love you, too, though you're not so little anymore." I patted my stomach where our child, our heir, grew. A child who would be both wolf and moon-blessed, a bridge between two worlds. Theron's hand covered mine, wonder in his expression. "We're going to have a family. We already do. A whole pack of them." "True." He pulled me closer, his chin resting on my head. "Though I still can't believe you faced down Draven with nothing but a pitchfork." "It was a very good pitchfork." His laugh rumbled through his chest. "My fierce queen." We stood there as the moon rose, full and bright, blessing our reign. I'd saved a dying wolf in the rain, never knowing he was a king. But the truth was simpler than that. I'd saved my mate, my other half, the man who made me whole, and in return he'd given me everything. A crown, a kingdom, a love that would echo through eternity. Not bad for a herbalist's daughter who couldn't resist helping a wounded creature. Not bad at all. Luna's closing, and there you have it, beautiful dreamers. The tale of Elara and Theron, the moon blessed, and her alpha king. Did this story make your heart race? Did you feel the magic of their bond? Then please, show me some love. Hit that like button. Leave a comment telling me your favorite moment, and subscribe to Luna's romance audiobooks so you never miss a story. I want to know, would you have saved the wolf? Would you have risked everything for a stranger with blue eyes and a destiny you couldn't see? Tell me in the comments. And speaking of destiny, our next story is one you won't want to miss. It's called The Alpha's Rejected Mate, and it follows a she-wolf cast out by her pack for being mateless, only to discover she's bonded to the most dangerous alpha in the realm, a male who's vowed never to take a mate again. Trust me, dreamers, it's going to be explosive. Until next time, may your dreams be filled with moonlight, your hearts with courage, and your love stories with happy endings. This is Luna, signing off. Sweet dreams, beautiful souls.